That guy need a haircut. Look at this. Look at this right here. Oh my gosh. Today we're going to talk about, it's getting to about the 20s right now in New Hampshire. So today we're going to talk about owning an electric car in the winter and without home charging. So this is going to be mostly a charging video, and whether or not, it's kind of like a sequel to that first video I put out about this, whether or not you think an electric car can work for you. And kind of the process I went through, knowing, living in a cold state, knowing that range would be against me because of the cold and home charging. I apologize for any background noise you hear. My roommate is a teacher and he is teaching on this Friday. I have this Friday off for work. Anyways, the first thing you ask yourself is, how do you own one? How do you own an electric car in the winter without home charging? And here's what I'll tell you first. If you can't make a plan work, don't do it. Battery-powered cars, generally with a lithium-ion battery, I'm going to keep this very short and simple, act a lot like a human or your cell phone. They want to operate in those prime temperatures, 60 to 80 themselves, outside of ambient temperature, degrees Fahrenheit, is when they operate the best, because the fluid and the processes and the ions moving, with less ambient energy, everything kind of slows down. That's just a normal physics and thermodynamics rule. Higher temperature, higher energy, more activity. One of the biggest draws is not just typical driving range, but it's the efficiency of the car is actually its greatest weakness when it comes to heating it. In a typical gas car, the waste energy from combustion is actually what heats the car. So that's actually harvested in the winter as opposed to lost in the summer, unless you're heating your car in the summer. Electric cars have to pull from their battery, have to pull that energy. Your batteries stink in the winter. You probably lose about 30 to 40% of expected range. In the summer you can get a lot more, especially if it's like nice 60 to 70 degrees where you might not need AC. So I'm going to also put my charts up probably here or maybe here. See, I did that. To show like my consumption, and I can show you my average consumption up till then. So yeah. Also, the draw on long-range road trips, especially if it's really cold, you're going to be just running that heater the entire time, and it'll drain more and more energy from driving. And then once you get to the charger, it might not always run at peak charging performance, especially if the battery is cold. Now when you're driving a road trip, the battery should heat up, but even then I've had situations where I've driven 50 minutes to a supercharge and gotten like 43 kilowatts. So it's also itself has to, it has to be, I don't think those things are heated, but it has to be operating as well in the winter. I have a script now and I can't even read my own handwriting. So you want to drive one in the winter. It's really not that bad. You have to, like any purchase decision, you shouldn't do it out of impulse. You should do it out of lots of deep thought and comparison of pros and cons. This is like a issue that affects every electric car. Chevrolet Bolt, Hyundai Kona, Kia Niro E. Oh, I said that full name. Nissan Leaf. The VW i4 coming out. All these other cars. It affects all of them. It's an electric car issue. So if you do settle on getting one, I'm going to talk very top level car rules. Step one, you need to figure out your charging. The reason I was able to do one is I used PlugShare, and that's kind of how it got me on the ball rolling. There's a free mall charger, the CCS, and a SAE combo fast charger. So you got the level 1 outlets, which I couldn't do in my apartment, or level 2. Charger, as you guys have seen, I've been using that a lot more. Once you find your charger, you need to figure out how reliable it is. PlugShare, and I'm going to show it here, does this like great thing. So like you can see nearby, it's got a 10 out of 10 rating, but if you read the comments, this guy had an issue. This guy had a charging issue. And that was something that I didn't have an issue with for a while, and now I did. Luckily I had a backup, otherwise I would have to either use that fast charger, go to some other public one, etc., etc. So know your stations, know the reliability, try to test it if you can. Maybe your friend's got an electric car, maybe you could literally rent one for a day. I wouldn't, that's a lot of effort. But these are the questions you have to ask yourself. I knew I was taking a risk, but I also had many options. I think if I didn't have my work option, this would have been a very different story. And I've had issues in the past too where, I've lost an adapter because I couldn't get it off because of fit. These treatment of these public chargers, or the melted adapter. I mean, I've gone through like 2 or 3 of these adapters already. And then, so you've checked PlugShare and you figured out your charger's reliable. All right, cool. You know you can charge there. It's safe. You could leave the car there for many hours, either in daytime or overnight. And now you have to establish a routine. How far are you driving? Obviously, with these stay-at-home, I'm still working from home. I don't need to commute, so my commutes are very short, groceries, couple miles to see Grace, etc. So I'm not doing daily driving, essentially. So my car just sit there and it loses some energy over time, which is another factor to consider without home charging. But you have to figure out a routine. How far are you going? How many miles do you need? If you're doing like 50 to 100 miles a day without home charging, you're gonna either need a supercharger nearby or a lot of patience and trust of your system nearby. For me personally, I usually drive the car during the week. If I'm planning a big trip or like a longer than normal driving, I always see how far I need to go and how much the car thinks I'll have. And I always give myself a buffer of like 30 to 20 is when I'm like, all right, I need to plug this in. Generally it happens on the weekend. I'll leave the car there, come back here and do my daily routine. And I don't charge to 100 and I don't let it sit at like 20 or 10 overnight, for extended period of times. It's not good for the battery. But obviously sitting on the cold isn't either, but whatever. And for me personally, one of the biggest things for the Tesla, which again I could have done with another car with some dash cams, was the Sentry mode. But rather than having a continuous loop playing or something, the car is a little bit more smart about it, so I'm going to have tons of storage to go through to find out how it's keyed in this 1-2 minute section. And that was a big draw for me for going to a public charger. Now that I'm at work, it's kind of a private place, so I'm not too worried about it. And in the end, you need to know your car. When you charge to 80 to 90%, are you going to get its estimated range? If you've been driving really safe without heat, or it was a nice warm week and your car is predicting more range, is that actually true? Can you trust this percentage or the miles predicted? Especially if you're getting overnight drain without being plugged in, or preheating battery loss where it's like a whole 1 to 2% just to get the car not get the car operational, but to warm yourself up. I mean, even in the morning when I don't preheat the car, I lose a ton of regen braking, like to the point where I pretty much have to use the brakes. That's a thing people don't consider. That really can affect your range in city driving. And again, this all is because of my easy situation. I'm very comfortable. I've almost have a routine where, I don't even worry about the range on the car. I drive it like a normal car, 70 to 75 on the highway, using the heat, because I know every week I can plug it in, or during the week as well. Things might change if I have to go back to work, but if I have to go back to that office, I think it'll be easier than it is now. Your last step is have a backup. Again, what I was talking about, when that free charger kind of fell through for me, I could probably go back there, but I'm not risking another $80 adapter. And this adapter is working fine. And as well as this charging station, I think it's safer. I would feel comfortable leaving my car overnight, and it's only like a couple dollars more expensive than free. It's totally worth it. The peace of mind, for sure. So have some free options nearby, and not free. Have some options nearby. If I'm in a pinch and I can't make it to any like free chargers during the week, or my normal charger during the week, or whatever, I do have those CHAdeMO chargers nearby. They're not fast, but if I need to go somewhere in like an hour, I hopefully planned a little bit better, but I have that option. And you need to make the smart decision and have fun. I spent months thinking about this. I went from wanting a Nissan Leaf to wanting the Hyundai Kona, a Kia Niro, a Chevy Bolt, the Model Y, nothing, a hybrid, a plug-in hybrid, and then I settled on the 3. Yeah, and I've enjoyed the decision. It was tough and it was scary in the beginning. I've gotten used to it for sure, but I mean, there were days where I was trying to save 1% or 2 and efficiency, trying to get under 300, under 200. I'm like, the anxiety wasn't worth it. And in the end, you kind of have to go with your gut and your wallet. This is the electric car life. It's not perfect, and it's kind of a pain sometimes. Once you find that routine that really works, it'll be great. My routine is working. I have no complaints. I love my car. Would I like to have it plugged in overnight? Yes. But this is the reality. And if I move, I'll have to find a new routine and go through more anxiety. But I love this car, and you will love your electric car too. So yeah, thanks for stopping by. Hope you enjoyed the video. A lot of talking, but I think it would be really helpful for people, because it is possible. You just have to weigh your options, weigh your finances, and in the end, make the right decision. Take care.